So today we are going to talk about artist block and some things that I do to help me get out of that space that we get in, mainly in our heads, when we really want to create, but we really can't create. And if you're an artist and you've created for any amount of time, painted for any amount of time, you know what I'm talking about. So I've been in a little series here just showing you how to get your hands moving when you're in your studio and maybe you really want to paint, but you're really having a hard time getting into that creative space. And so I've talked a lot about my painted papers and my flower bowl. So I just wanted to kind of show you a fun way that I use just my already cut out pieces to play. And it's almost like working a puzzle. You've seen me do this lots. If you follow me on Instagram, you can come catch some of my videos over here. But I just use these fun shapes that I have cut out. I have a lot of flowers, or sometimes it's just little pieces, just little, I don't know, some people call it fodder. I've just always called them scraps, and I have a really hard time throwing away scraps. And so sometimes if I have art that's left over, this was actually a print of some of my art, and I just cut out the little bird. But I just throw them into this thing, and then I can play with them. And yes, it's playing. I just will come into my studio, and it's my warm-up exercise. I play with my pieces of paper, and to me it's almost like working a puzzle. Sometimes I make art out of it by playing with them, and sometimes I just make shapes or things with them, and then I put them back in the bowl. So I'll show you that process. Thank you for joining me here. If you like this exercise and you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up so I'll know that you're here. So we'll get started. Okay, so I've got some things laid out here. If you followed me for any amount of time, you know that I am a mixed media artist. I mainly paint with acrylics and heavy texture, and I mainly paint on canvas. But I am probably true and true really a mixed media artist because I'm always jumping around trying new supplies, trying new techniques. One mainstay in my art is texture, which I want to talk about in some other videos here on YouTube. But sometimes when I haven't been in the studio regularly, which feels like a lot lately because when you run an art business, there's a lot of other tasks that take up the majority of your time. And so I start getting just kind of like a creative block, and I'm scared to create. You kind of feel like you've maybe lost your mojo. And so I wanted to share with you some things that you probably see me post a lot, because a lot of times this is all I have time to do, and I want to keep my hands moving. But I do a lot of paperwork with collage and painted papers. And so I thought I'd take you through a couple things, and then I'm going to show an exercise that I did this morning just as my warm-up. And I really ended up liking the piece. Now, some pieces I don't really like this piece here. I just did some collage on a board, just playing around. It's really busy, and it's not something I would probably ever put out there, but the process was fun. And so sometimes we just have to remember it's about enjoying the process and creating and being creative and learning new things. And so, you know, the painted papers, which I have a video on that already. You can go back and watch it, kind of what I do with my leftover paints. So when I have paints left over on my palette, I don't ever waste them. I always try to paint papers with them. And then with those papers, sometimes I may just have a day where all I can do is cut papers. I cut papers, I create flowers. I have my yummy bowl of flowers and fodder here that I just keep adding to. Another thing I do is I just keep a bag of papers. And so I create these papers, and then I cut them into little squares so that when I'm creating, I have all these yummy papers to pull from. And then I also create small works on, I love the decks. If you didn't catch my Deck of Dreams 365, that is still available to purchase, but it's just a month's worth from different artists. I'm the December artist, but I do love creating these little cards, and you can see I've started this one out of just collage from some papers. But that is a great way to keep your hands moving. And then my last favorite way, and you can see here, this is just one stash of my index cards. I love the index card a day. Daisy Yellow, excuse me, she does this every summer, and she does 60 days of index card a day. And so you can kind of see my stash here. Plus I always do my scripture cards once a month on index cards. So that is just another way that I keep my hands moving when I'm not in the studio getting to paint big works. So anyway, you can just see here some of the just little collages I've done with papers. Just another way to use my painted papers. So I'm going to take you through this demo here and kind of show you this was my warm-up exercise this morning. I have a whole day in the studio, and I was really having some anxiety about coming in here because I didn't really feel inspired to paint. I've got a to-do list of a million things, and but I want to paint. So I know if you're an artist, you have that dilemma. So a couple things that I do besides just creating the papers is I've got my essential oils burning here, just a relaxing smell. I turn on some relaxing music. I might just sit in my studio a while and just get comfortable. I've got my heater going. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm in a garage studio, so it gets kind of cold in here, but I do have a little space heater. So I get it warm, I get it comfortable, and then I just do something that is no pressure, and I can play with color and texture, which are my favorite things, and just get myself in that creative mood. So I hope this helps you. If you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and leave me a comment or give me a thumbs up, just something so I can know that you're here. And then join me for more. I'm going to hopefully show you some more things, and we can do this journey together. So thank you for being here.